What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I love to talk about all things Peloton cycling and fitness. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday, and today's video is a continuation of the Floor Bootcamp 2 program on Peloton by Jess and Selena Samuela. And I already posted weeks 1 and 2. Which was fun, and I'm excited to wrap up the program in this video with weeks 3 and 4. So we're gonna get right on into it today. We are starting class 1 of week 3. It's a Sunday morning, a couple days after I wrapped up week 2. And we're kicking off the week with a 30-minute floor bootcamp class, tagged intermediate by Jess. The description is, welcome to week 3. You're halfway through the program and now it's time to level up. Jess leads you through another 30 minutes of floor bootcamp with some new moves to conquer. And I think that Jess always, really brings it to her classes. So I think it'll be a hard one, but it should be fun. I am ready to, do some strength, do some cardio, and then get out of there. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out week 3, day 1. Another good class in the floor bootcamp programs. So the structure of this program is the first day, Jess does push movements. The second day, Selena does pull movements. And then the third day is a 2-for-1 benchmark. So I knew what I was getting into today. I appreciate consistency though. I really like knowing what I'm gonna do before I go into the class. We started with the 5-minute warm up that we do every single class. It is a body weight warm up. There's jumping jacks, there's backward lunges. We do push-ups to downward dog, plank. We're getting all of the good moves in, the world's greatest stretch. Feeling good. I really like that warm up, so no complaints there. Jess said to grab a set of medium weights and a set of light weights. She said 10 and 15s. I've been grabbing 15s and 20s this whole program, and I feel like that's the right weight for me, so I grabbed that again. And we got into our first strength set, which was sit-ups with a dumbbell, and we used our heavy dumbbell, so I was using 20 pounds. Then a push-up, and then a T side plank. And she said to modify this however you wanted. So if you wanted to do everything on your knees, you could. If you wanted to do everything off your knees, you could. I did the push-ups on my knees and then went up off my knees for the side planks. And then we finished off with dumbbell thrusters. So we do the squat, and then as we're coming up, we thrust up, and she said to use your light weight. So I was using 15 pounds. Honestly, I'm a little iffy if I should have pushed up on it, but I didn't in the moment. I do feel like I got a good workout today, so maybe I could have pushed up more, but I'm happy with the set as is. And we did that set 3 times. The first time, 45 seconds for each move, and the second 2 times, 30 seconds for each move. So a solid little push set to start off. Then we got into cardio, which was 30 seconds of spider human, so in a plank position, and you're basically doing mountain climbers, but instead of crossing, you're just bringing it up to the same side. I like those, no real complaints. My only moderate little beef is that it doesn't feel like that high cardio to me. It's just an ab workout, but I guess you're supposed to do them fast. And then the complementary move was very spiking the heart rate. So I guess it was good to have a little bit of recovery. The complementary move was a dumbbell jack. She said to use your light weights. I was using 15 pounds. So you're just jumping in and out with your feet. And then at the same time, you are lifting the weight above you. That made my heart rate go crazy. I actually really, really like this move as a cardio move. I feel like it's, straightforward, it's easy, it's not boring, but you're definitely spiking the heart rate at the same time. So I like that little set, 30 seconds on, 15 seconds off, and we repeated it 3 times. Then we got into the AMRAP of the day, 6-minute AMRAP. Jess always does an AMRAP, and we did 6 sprinter sit-ups, but on each side, so really 12. Then we set up, grabbed our light weights, so 15 pounds for me, and did 6 kersey lunges on each side. So again, really 12 with our weights racked up on our shoulders. And then we finished with 6 Arnold presses. And again, I don't really know the curtsy lunges. I probably could have gone up to 20 pounds, but I definitely couldn't have gone up to 20 pounds for the Arnold presses. So then there would have been like an awkward weight switch. So I feel like 15 pounds was fine for this. She said to aim for 4 rounds. I got like 3.5 in, which I was happy with. I'm not like super concerned about going really fast in AMRAPs anymore. So good AMRAP, no real complaints there. And then we finished with a 4-minute Tabata set, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, where we were doing dumbbell snatches with our heavyweight. So I was using 20 pounds and we did one side, 10 seconds off, 20 seconds on the other side. I personally love dumbbell snatches and we like threw it all the way in the air above our head. So I love this little ending. I feel like it does get the heart rate up, but it's nothing like super, super crazy. I like that we switch sides and yeah, like no complaints there. I love dumbbell snatches. So that was a fun way to wrap the class. And then the class was over. And yeah, I really liked today. I just feel like it was balanced really well. And I feel like I got a good workout in, but it never felt like it was impossible to do. Got some cardio, got some strength, and then I was ready to leave the gym. So difficulty today, I would give maybe like a 7 out of 10. I didn't think it was anything crazy difficult, and I really like the cardio moves today, like no burpees. I guess a dumbbell jack is jumping, but it's not like a jump squat or something. Like I'm okay with the dumbbell jack, so really like the cardio. I thought the strength sections were good pushes, but nothing like super, super hard. Enjoyability, I would give it like a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed the structure of this class. I think we got a little bit of everything. Again, I really like the cardio and I feel like that makes a really big difference to me. Everything felt very doable, but like still challenging. So a great way to kick off week 3 and I'm excited to continue. It is now the next day and today is definitely supposed to be a rest day in the program, but again, it just fits better in my schedule if I do class 2 today. I've definitely been struggling balancing like programs and then wanting to do like outdoor exercises. I go to a run club on Wednesday. I feel like it's been hard to balance it, but I really think it's okay to do. Like these are all pull movements. We did push movements yesterday. I don't feel sore. I feel fine. So we're going to get right on into it with class 2 of week 3, which is a 30-minute floor boot camp tagged intermediate by Selena Samuela. The description is Selena is cranking up the heat in this 30-minute workout. Keep the towel close and prepare to squat jump your way to the finish line. Which the mention of squat jump scares me, but we'll see. I typically like pull movements more, although for doing squat jumps, we'll see how today goes. So let's go hit the mat and knock out class 2. Selena really brought it today. I definitely think this was the hardest floor boot camp class we've done to date. I was kind of prepared because, you know, they did warn us about the squat jumps, but honestly, I thought every section was pretty hard and I have mixed feelings on them. But we'll start off. We did the 5-minute bodyweight warm up. That was good. Selena said to grab medium and heavy weights. I originally grabbed 15 to 20, but then she's like, oh, like really, really push yourself today. Like, yeah, basically we're gonna go really hard. And I was like, we'll see what the first set is and then I'll decide. And the first set was 30 seconds deadlifts and then 30 seconds bent over rows with a 40-second recovery. So I was like, okay, 20 pounds for deadlifts is very light for me. So I will push to 25. So I did 25 pounds for the first set of deadlifts and rows. And then I was like, honestly, the 25 pounds felt very bad for the rows. They felt right for the deadlifts, but I then went down to 20 pounds for the rows for the next 3 sets. And that felt good. It was definitely a push, but I liked it. I mean, I like deadlifts and rows, so that helps too. But I was feeling good, definitely like lifting heavy, feeling good during that little strength segment. Then we got into our first cardio section, which was very hard. And it wasn't so much the moves, it was more the structure. So we did 30 seconds of squat thrusts, which is essentially a burpee without the jumping or the push-up. And then 30 seconds of mountain climber with no rest in between. And then after, you know, that full minute of high intensity cardio, I mean, the squat thrust is really what spiked the heart rate, but then mountain climbers sustained it for me. You only got 15 seconds of rest. And I feel like, yeah, that's just like not enough recovery. And we did that 4 times. So I didn't hate the moves, but I wish there was like a little more recovery. I feel like a minute to 15 seconds is just not enough, especially when we're doing these like high intensity movements. Then we got into our 6-minute EMOM. I actually really like this EMOM. She said use your lightweight, so 15. It was 12 high pulls alternating and then 12 crossbody curls alternating. And I found that I usually got like 15 to 20 seconds of recovery. And yeah, it just felt good. I feel like 15 pounds was the right weight. 20 would have been like way too hard. And 15, I felt like I could keep the pace up and get like a good amount of recovery. So I really liked that EMOM. And then I knew it was coming, but we had our little Tabata section at the end, which was squat jumps, which I was not a fan of. It was 4 minutes, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. We did 20 seconds of body weight jump squats, and then you were supposed to do 20 seconds of weighted jump squats with just one weight. She wanted you to use your heavy weight. I was like, I'm using the lightweight. So I used one 15-pound dumbbell, and for the weighted, I also just went up on my toes. Selena said you could do that for both, like if you needed to modify. And honestly tempting, but I was like, you know what, for the non-weighted 20 seconds, I can actually do the jump squats. I usually modify all the jumping, but I was like, we can push ourselves. And then for the weighted, I was like, I don't want to jump with a weighted dumbbell. I'm just like, not a fan of jump squats in general, but you know, we got through it and then the class was over. The cardio sections were definitely hard today. And honestly, I thought like the strength sections were pushes as well. It was a good class. It was just a hard class. Enjoyability, I would give like a 7.5 out of 10. It would be higher if there was more recovery during the first cardio section and we didn't do jump squats at the end. Like instead of jump squats, if we did the dumbbell snatches or dumbbell cleans, that would be amazing. But you know, you just got to do what they tell you to do. And then for difficulty, I would give it like a 9 out of 10. I mean, I was pushing myself on the weight in the first set, but Selena did like highly encourage you to do that. And yeah, I thought it was like a pretty difficult class, but it was a good one. I do like the pull moves. And yeah, I'm excited to take the benchmark next time. It is now Thursday morning and we are ready to go. We're ready to wrap up week 3 of this program with class 3, which is a 20-minute floor boot camp class by Jess and Selena, tagged intermediate. The description is Jess and Selena take you through this week 3 benchmark class. Can you level up from last week? Aim for more reps in the EMOM and more rounds in the AMRAP. So we'll see how it goes. I love when there is a 2-for-1. It should be a fun class. And let's see if we can beat last week's AMRAP. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and wrap up week 3. So this was the benchmark class of the week. So it's the exact same thing we did as weeks 1 and 2 benchmarks, which I like, no complaints. I love predictable classes. So we got right on into it because it's only a 20-minute class, 5-minute body weight warm up, the same one we've always been doing. I like that. Then we have a 6-minute AMRAP. That's 10 push-ups, 10 alternating wide grip bent over rows, and then 10 alternating dumbbell cleans. The past 2 benchmarks, I'd used 20 pounds because they had said to use your heavy weights, and those were my heavy weights for the program. And the first time I got 4 2/3 rounds in. The second time I got 5 1/3 rounds in and thought that it felt a little easy. So to be honest, I really wasn't feeling pushing the weight today, but I was like, you know what? I feel like last time I just got too many rounds in, and let's just like see what weighted feels like, because the alternating rows and the alternating cleans, like the fact that they're alternating, I do feel like I should be able to go up to 25. So I tried 25, definitely felt a lot harder, but I still got 4 1/3 rounds in. So I'm pretty proud of that. Although obviously I didn't match the 20-pound weight. I think that still shows progress, that I was willing to go up the weight and I committed to it. Definitely harder than the 20 pounds, but I'm proud of myself for going up in that. And yeah, I mean, it was a good AMRAP, I guess. I feel like I like AMRAPs now that I like just try to do my best. So that was good. And then after that, we had a 2-minute rest, and then we went into our 6-minute EMOM, which was also the same. The odd minutes, we did 10 Russian twists weighted, and then 10 single arm dumbbell thrusters weighted. So you just had one weight and you were doing a lunge, and as you were doing the lunge, you were also doing a shoulder press. And I feel like I could have gone up to 20 pounds for this. I used 15 and I had been using 15. But honestly, after my 25-pound push, I was like, not today. So maybe I'll do that in the benchmark next week. But today I just stuck with the 15 pounds. And honestly, the 15 pounds like is getting too easy for me. Today I had usually between 25 and 30 seconds of rest, which is really high. And like the first week, I think I only had around 20 seconds of rest maximum. So next week I probably should push to the 20 pounds. But this week I was just proud to push on one of them and show myself I can do it. So next week, the last week, I'll be ready to push both. But then the class was over. The 20 minutes is super fast. I think difficulty, definitely more difficult since I pushed the weight a little bit. I would say like a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. The EMOM was still like pretty easy for me. So it was really just the AMRAP that was a big push. Enjoyability, I would give like an 8.5 out of 10. It is enjoyable to see progress. Like I'm definitely seeing progress in these benchmarks. Again, I still wish that this was a 30-minute class. 20 minutes just feels so fast, but it was a good wrap on week 3. We are now into the final week of the program. It's the following Monday. We had some good rest and recovery, and now we're ready to wrap up this program. So today is class 1. It's a 30-minute floor bootcamp class with Jess Sims, tagged intermediate. The description is you've made it to the final week of the program and Jess is ready to make you work for it. Say hello to the devil's press. And I don't know what a devil's press is. It sounds like we're going to find out. And someone commented on my last video about this program and specifically said week 4, day 1 is very hard. So, something to look forward to this Monday morning, a challenge. Jess usually is hard, but she's usually reasonable. So we'll see. Hopefully that continues today. So let's go to the gym and knock out week 4, day 1. Well, for better or worse, I now know what a devil's press is, but that was all the way at the end. So, there was anticipation throughout the class. So we started off, we did our same 5-minute warm-up, no complaints there, always like that. And then Jess said to grab medium and heavy weights. She had 10 and 15, I grabbed 15 and 20 as I always do. But I actually only used 15 pounds. There was like one opportunity where she was like, you can push up to heavy if you want. But for the most part, we were using the lighter weights, which is a sign that we were doing harder moves if I'm using the light weights the whole time. But the first strength segment, we also did a move that I had never done before. And I'm like, is this a devil's press? But she didn't call it that. So I was like, I don't know, but it was very interesting. You're doing a modified forearm side plank. So your knee was on the ground, but the other leg, the leg that is closer to the ceiling, was like lifted up. So that already, made it a little bit harder. And then in addition to that, you were essentially doing like a press with your upper arm. So you had the weight and you would bring it across your body and then press it up. And I did 15 pounds on these and that was really hard. I understand why Jess was using 10, especially for the first time we did the set. We were doing 45 seconds on each side. And it was just like such a new move. Like it was very interesting. Doing it for 45 seconds, I was like, oh my gosh, should I go down to 10 for the next 2 sets? But then the next 2 sets were 30 seconds each and it got more of a hang of it and I felt like it was a lot better. I actually really like this move. Like I've never done it before. It was really interesting. You were definitely using like a lot of your different body parts. So it was interesting, but I liked it. So we did that on one side and then immediately went to the other side and then finished off the set with a squat. But the squat was like a tempo squat, so it was really slow. It took us almost 10 seconds to do one. So like on the bright side, we didn't do that many squats because she counted, like she's like, move with me. But on the downside, it was definitely harder. That was the move that she's like, oh, you can go up to your heavy weights if you want. But I just honestly stayed with my 15. I feel like the whole like forearm plank press situation was the challenge in that. And yeah, tempo squats are like still hard even with the lighter weights. So we did that set 3 times and that was the first strength set. So I was like, this is already kicking off to be pretty hard, but like that felt manageable. It felt good. Then we got into the first cardio set, which I also did not think that it was that bad, but I did modify. So we did 30 seconds on, 15 seconds off. The first 30 seconds were plank jacks. And I like really don't mind plank jacks. I kind of feel like I might be doing them wrong because I don't feel like they activate my core that much. But I feel like I have the form right. I don't know, but I'm totally fine with plank jacks. It definitely like spikes up the heart rate a little bit, but nothing too bad. But the second move was more questionable. It was basically like 2 jump lunges, so 1 on each side, and then a jump squat. And I am just not a jumper. And Jess is like, you can modify it if you want. And I'm like, yeah, say less. I was gonna modify it anyways. So I just did 2 reverse lunges and then a normal squat. But I just tried to do it really fast, and like that still spiked my heart rate a lot. I was spiking into zone 3 on that. So I don't feel like modifying it like really hurt the cardio. I'm sure the jumping makes it even more intense, but I felt like it was still a good workout. And we did that cardio set 3 times, and then we like always do a little finisher where it's like 15 seconds of each move. And yeah, that was definitely hard, but like felt good. No real complaints. Glad that we could modify the jumps. Then we got into the AMRAP of the day, and the AMRAP I think was the hardest. I was using my light weights, which is 15 pounds, which was really hard. I was like, maybe I should go down to 10, but I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to try to stick it out. We did 8 French doors, 8 front to back lunges, 8 overhead extensions, and 8 lateral lunges. So all the leg work with 15 pounds is fine, but the 8 French doors with 15 pounds and the 8 overhead extensions with 15 pounds, because it's really like 30, you have 1 in each hand. Those were huge pushes to me, but I'm really proud that I could do them. And just was like aim for 3 rounds. I got through 2.75 rounds, and I was really, really happy with that, especially at this weight. But man, that one was a hard one. And then we finished off with Tabata and also the devil's press. So I learned what that is, and it's basically just like a burpee, but harder. So you do the bottom burpee movement. You can do the push-up. She's like, you can modify and take the push-up out, which I did because I just wanted to focus on the weighted part, where essentially once you're up from the burpee, it's a like dumbbell swing. So then you like swing up and go up. I personally like the move. I mean, I did remove the push-up, which made it a little bit easier, but I like dumbbell swings, and I feel like it was a good move. I use my medium weights. Definitely hard, definitely effective, definitely got the heart rate up. 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off is quite hard. She's like, these take a while, so you only need to aim for like 3 to 4 each 20-second increment. But yeah, it was a push, and we did that little set 8 times. So it was effective, definitely got the heart rate up, and I like that move with the modification. So I 100% understand this class was definitely very hard, but I do feel like it's manageable because she does offer a lot of modifications, and I took them and I still feel like it was a really good workout. Like sometimes I take modifications and I'm like, oh, I don't think I pushed myself hard enough. Not true in this class. I still feel like I got a really great workout even with the modifications. Difficulty without modifications, I would give like a 9.5. With modifications, I would give like a 8 to 8.5. I thought it was difficult, but I thought it was manageable, which I feel that way about a lot of Jess's classes. Like they're never going to be easy, but they are never like super, super discouraging, which I appreciate. Enjoyability, I would give like a 9 to 9.5 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed this class. I like when we do new moves, keeps it a little interesting. I like the cardio segments. They were good, they were effective, but I also like the moves that we did in them, and I like the modifications that she gave. So overall, a good way to kick off week 4. It is now a couple days later. It's Thursday morning, and we're ready to get into week 4, day 2, which is class 2, a 30-minute floor bootcamp class tagged intermediate with Selena Samuela. The description is, this finish line is in sight and Selena is motivating you all the way to the end. Grab your dumbbells and get ready to swing. And I do like to swing, so I have high hopes for this class. I mean, I've been liking the past couple classes, so I think it'll be a good one today. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out class 2. I like that class, and like looking back at the sets, there was nothing that I disliked really, but for some reason when I think back to it, I'm not like, wow, that was like an absolutely amazing class. I can't wait to take it again. So I don't know why. I guess everything was like good, but nothing was like super, super stand out to me. but that's also good. Like, no complaints. It was a good class. We got the work in. We started with our typical 5-minute warm up, and Selena said to grab medium and heavy weights. I grabbed my 15s and 20s. And our first strength set was a dumbbell single leg deadlift into a bicep curl. And she said you could modify it by keeping the leg that was doing the deadlift off the ground the entire time, so including when you're doing the bicep curl. And I did that, and I really liked this move, like no complaints. We did 35 seconds on one side, 5-second transition, 35 seconds on the other side, and then 20 seconds rest. And we did that set a total of 4 times. So yeah, no complaints here. Like, I like deadlifts, I like bicep curls. I use my 15 pound. She said to use your lighter weights, and I felt like that was the appropriate weight for me. I would have loved to try to push to 20, but 20 pounds is just like way too hard for bicep curls for me. But I feel like keeping your leg off the ground while you're doing the bicep curls adds like a little bit more of difficulty. Then we got into our first cardio set, which was a broad jump. So you're like jumping from the back of your mat to the front and then like quickly jogging backwards back. I'm not a huge jumper. This doesn't bother me as much for some reason, which is kind of weird because it still is very high impact. But I did that move. I mean, it's effective. It definitely gets your heart rate up. And then the other move that we alternated with was a spider jump. So that's like essentially a spider lunge where you're just constantly changing between the two. That was really hard. I tried my best to do it. I did have to slow down at some points. And Selena was like, if you have to modify it, just do mountain climbers. I didn't have to modify it that much, but yeah, that's definitely a hard move to sustain for 30 seconds. But I like the push. My only complaint with this cardio section is the first 4 times we got a 15-second break, so it was 30 seconds on, 15 seconds off. But then the last 4 times, she's like, no break, just 2 minutes of straight work, which I just feel like, why? I mean, it does get the heart rate up, but yeah, not a fan of that. But, you know, we got through it. And then we had our EMOM, and the EMOM today was actually pretty easy. It was 8 renegade rows and then 8 dumbbell deadlifts. I use my heavy weights. I use the 20 pounds, which is what Selena said. For the renegade row, she's like, you can do it off your knees or on your knees. I did it on my knees because I'd rather have good like rowing than be worried about like holding a plank. And I thought that was good. And then the deadlifts, I actually didn't understand this until like a round or 2 in, but she wanted you to like put the weights on the floor and like actually deadlift compared to a Russian deadlift where you kind of just bring it down to the front of your shins, which definitely made it a little bit harder. I actually don't do that many like classic deadlifts weight on the floor. I mostly do RDLs. So it was like an interesting little twist, makes it a little bit harder. But for the most part, I had like around 15 to 20 seconds of recovery. So really no complaints. That's what I aim for in an EMOM. That felt good. And then we had our little Tabata cardio finisher, which was 20 seconds of dumbbell swings, 1 weight, our heavy weight. That was good. And then 20 seconds of mountain climbers, which after doing the spider lunges, the mountain climbers felt so easy. And I like dumbbell swings. The mountain climbers didn't bother me either. Like 20 seconds, I feel like you can do anything for 20 seconds. And it wasn't like super intense like burpees or anything. So I feel like the 10 seconds of recovery felt good. And then the class was over. So today's class I did like. I really had no complaints except for the little 2-minute cardio block there. But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it just like didn't stick out to me as like a fantastic class, but I don't really know why. So difficulty, I would give it like a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. Maybe that's it. I do feel like it was easier than some of the past classes, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Not every class has to be super hard, but yeah, maybe that's why I didn't like it as much. And then enjoyability, I would give it like a 6 out of 10. It definitely wasn't unenjoyable, but I just feel like nothing was like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. But we did get through it, and there were no jump squats or jump lunges. So that's always a huge plus. But yeah, I'm ready to wrap up this program tomorrow when I'm going to take the final benchmark. It is now the next day. It's Friday, and I'm ready to wrap up week 4, wrap up the entire program, do the benchmark class. It should be a fun day, a celebration day. So today we're doing week 4, class 3, which is a 20-minute floor bootcamp class by Jess and Selena, tagged intermediate. The description is finish strong and celebrate your progress with Jess and Selena as you hit the mat for this final benchmark class. And I did say last week that I'm gonna push weight. So we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be fun. I'm ready to have a nice little wrap up day. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out this final class. That was a great class to finish on. I mean, I feel like I knew what to expect because the benchmark class is the same every week. But Jess and Selena were in a great mood. Selena did the playlist. She did an amazing job. It was all like very, very hype music. And yeah, just like a fun way to wrap up the program. We did our 5-minute warm up. Can't believe that'll be the last time that I do it unless if I retake this program. I actually have really, really grown to like that warm up. Then we got into the first AMRAP that was 10 push-ups, 10 bat wing alternating rows, and then 10 alternating dumbbell cleans. And last week I went up to 25. It was definitely a push. I knew I wanted to keep the 25 this week. And I did the exact same amount of rounds as last week. 4.3, so I did 4 full rounds and then the round of push-ups. There was like 10 more seconds left in the AMRAP, but I just stopped because I was like, man, I cannot do like 10 batwing rows. And the rows honestly were the hardest move for me. They were really, really killer. So I still see a little bit of progress. I did it slightly faster. And honestly, I'm just proud of myself for being able to do that. 25 pounds is definitely a huge push for me for the AMRAP. So I was feeling good and I knew that I wanted to also push weight for the EMOM. After the 6-minute AMRAP, we have the 6-minute EMOM, and I've been using 15 pounds previously. The first minute is 10 Russian twists weighted with one weight, and then you do a like lunge push press on one side, and then the second minute is 10 V-ups and then the lunge push press on the other side. So I bumped up to 20 pounds, which honestly felt better than I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to feel real hard, especially after the AMRAP. I was really tired. You do get 2 minutes of recovery between the AMRAP and EMOM, which is nice, but it felt good and I did it. I definitely had to take, I think, some more breaks during my lunge push presses before I could just do 10 straight. This time I did like 5 to 6 and then took, a 5-second break and got back into it. But I still had a decent amount of recovery at the end, 15 to 20 seconds, and I'm proud of myself for pushing the weight for that. And then the class was already over. I do think the benchmark class is short. I've always said that, but today it felt good. We just did the thing, we wrapped it up, and it felt good to push weight. And now the entire program is over, which is so weird to me because it feels like I just started. Today's class difficulty, I would give like a 9 out of 10. We were working hard today. The only savior is that it's short, which was nice. I was definitely pushing weights really heavy for myself, but I am proud. And enjoyability, like 10 out of 10. This was probably my favorite class. I just feel like Selena and Jess were so hype in the class and the music was so, so good. So it was such a fun way to wrap up this program. Overall, my thoughts on this program is I actually grew to like it a little bit more. I feel like after weeks 1 and 2, I was like, I don't really see myself retaking this in the future. I do think I'm not a complete boot camp person. I do see the value of just doing cardio and strength separately. But after finishing this program, I would not be opposed to trying Floor Bootcamp 1, seeing what that is like. I do feel like it's fun and it's like kind of different than what I usually do. I really like Jess and Selena. I feel like they program things really well, especially Jess. I feel like introduces a lot of new moves, which I appreciate. It keeps things interesting, especially because I gravitate towards splits and density training. I do really like those, but those do feel very repetitive. I feel like this program might be one of my favorite 4-week programs. We are doing something different every week, which does keep it a little more interesting. I feel like it was a fun thing to do in the summer. And it's nice that you can get in some cardio without equipment. So if you don't have equipment and you're looking for some cardio strength, I would highly recommend this. I do think the cardio sections are pretty hard. So overall, I'm very happy with this program. I don't know. I usually don't give a rating to the program overall, but I would give this a 7.5 to 8 out of 10 in terms of difficulty and enjoyability. So let me know if you've taken this program. If not, what else have you been taking recently on Peloton? I need to figure out what I'm going to do after this. That is it for this video. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.